alcohol is legal. Alcohol is a legal drug. They can buy it anywhere. You can see them, women, men, girls, boys. They're sitting in one table, and of course, they all drink. And the addiction will rob you of your choice. You cannot choose whatever it is. The only thing you can choose is choose your drugs, choose the gambling. Choose alcohol.
Okay, George.
Okay, my name is George. I am an alcoholic. I'm an addict. I'm a gambler. Maybe also a lot of addictions I may have. Okay, I was born here in the city of Angeles. We call it Angeles. Some people call it Angeles, but we call it Angeles. So I was born here, and then I remember I studied my elementary in the Holy Family Academy. It's run by nuns. In high school, I studied also in a Catholic school run by priests, and then I went into college. Although my career in the drinking, using, and gambling started when I was in grade school, probably grade 5, in gambling. In high school, I started drinking and first smoking, and then at the age of I was then 12 or 13 years old, and then I started to drink at the age of 14 years old during my second year high school, and went on. Of course, I didn't know that that drinking alcohol is very progressive. I thought, I was cool when I was a kid. Then I always see my uncles, my father, drink alcohol. Little did I know that I am in a family of an alcoholic. At that time, there are no drugs, but alcohol is very prevalent in our family. And I could still remember that my uncles, I think most of them died because of alcoholism. Others, cirrhosis of the liver, other, because they have high blood pressure, they died of, they had stroke. So I myself did not really realize that I will become an alcoholic, not only an alcoholic, but also an addict. And that the progression starts. When I was in college, I graduated in high school, and then I went into college, into a Catholic school also, run by, by, probably I could say, their priests also. And I started to have friends, and I started, using drugs more often. Or I guess that the addiction in my drugs and my alcoholism progresses. When I drink, I use marijuana. I drink cough syrup. Of course, with volumes, and or maybe over-the-counter drugs. And I guess that was in 1980 when I was apprehended by policemen, smoking pot, and went to jail. But luckily or fortunately I am, I had friends, and they took me out of the jail the following morning. because of some connections that I have. I did not stop. You know, I continued using. Until the time that I got married with my wife, and at that time, you know, methamphetamine started to show in our city, and I like, of course, the high of using alcohol, mixing it with marijuana, mixing it with alcohol. You know, that's how I am. I like they call it smorgasbord. You know, and the high that I have, that there's high, there's low, there's high. You know, I love it, and my family saw me that I am becoming really very unmanageable at that time, and uh, they asked me that, or they told me that I'm sick. I told them that no, I'm not sick. It's dad and mom are the ones sick. You know, it's not me. So that's the time they put me into rehab, or maybe they placed me in a psychiatric ward, you know, in a nut house. They said that I will just have a peace test. But then again, I was there in that nut house or psychiatric ward for 3 weeks, and that's the start of my recovery. That's the start. You know, I have nothing at that time. You know, I know that I ran for a counselor here in our place, but I was using at the time, of course. Nobody will they know that I'm an addict. Nobody will vote for me, and I have nothing left. When I went into the psychiatric ward, and then they, until I said yes to go into rehab, they did not let me out of the hospital. I went into rehab, and so this 12 steps program. It's a 12 steps program, rehab, and I like how I've learned my life. You know, I've reflected. You know, my life, what happened to me. You know, at that time, I almost, you know I'm losing my wife and my family at that time. But you know, when I went into treatment, she was still there for me, and I was into treatment for I could say 2 months. Right after 2 months, I went back to my hometown here in Angeles City, and they told me that I have to go to meetings or AA meetings. When I was in treatment, it was an outpatient treatment. I used to go to AA meetings and Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and they told me if I will get my sponsor, if I will work the 12 steps, if I will go to meetings, you know, I have a chance to recover. And they told me that I have to take it one day at a time. I took it one day at a time. You know, I have nothing left at that time. So after I think 9 months of becoming clean and sober, and attending meetings in Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, I met an American. You know, he said that he knows how to do treatment, and he was a counselor in South Korea. He was stationed in South Korea, and he was now living in the Philippines, and he asked me if I would want to put up a treatment place. And while I was going into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, we started talking about, treatment. We started, conversing. He said that if he was here in the Philippines, it has to be a Filipino, and he chose me as the person to be his partner, I could say. And we started it. We started first. We were trying to carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. We went to hospitals. We went to a lot of places to look for alcoholics. We didn't see any alcoholics here in the Philippines or in our area. But I know there are a lot of alcoholics. So one time I went into a convention in Bacolod City in the Visayas area, and I heard, one I think he was sober for 5 years, and he said he's trying to put up a rehab also. He did not look for alcoholics. He tried to look for drug addicts. And lo and behold, I think a bright light, just went into my mind. When we went back to our place here in Angeles, I know there are a lot of drug addicts because I myself is a drug addict. So in my own house, I have two niece who are drug addicts, and I asked them if they want to be with us. So we started carrying the message that there is a chance, in recovering, and we started doing this. That was, I was already probably 4 years in recovery at that time. They just told me that I have to take it a day at a time. Days will become weeks, weeks will become months, months will become years, years will become multiple years. And behold, here I am. I have my own 31 years in recovery. So when we started it, we have first, we had, I think, 3 clients, and they did not get recovery, and then another came, but we didn't stop there, and we continued doing it until such time, it was I could say trial and error thing in this treatment. So at first it's 45 days, then it become 2 months, then it become 3 months, 6 months. Now we're on our 9 months for a person who will be put up in treatment. And at that time, I was separated, or we part ways. My partner and I part ways. I continue doing this. Continue doing with scholars. Some don't pay, some pays. As long as I am eating, I don't really care about doing some business. As long as I'm okay, as long as I have money in my pocket, or maybe as long as I have food in my table, I'll be okay. But I believe in a power greater than myself, and that power greater than myself, I develop my faith in that power greater than myself, in which I call it God. I constantly started, praying, and started asking for His mercy, for His help, for His blessings, and in this field, I was still working in a bottling company, in a bottling company in which I go back and forth. But we have already this treatment, and I know with my faith, I started to have little by little knowing all the things about addiction. Addiction, you know, robbed me. I know addiction robbed me of my choice. Addiction robbed me of a lot of things in my life. And I just have to carry that message. I just have to continue, and I just have to ask for some help. And little by little, the treatment that I used to have, first we have 3 patients or 3 clients, and then 5 clients, back to 4. But when I started to do an inpatient treatment, and put up a big fence out of it, as if it's a jail, but it's not, just to help them recover, because some really escape when they're in treatment. My motto is, sometimes I have to carry the body so that the mind will follow. When I get them, or when I put them into treatment, I just have to carry the body and then teach them, re-educate the mind, And today I know there are a lot of researches when it comes to addiction. I'm grateful that I have so many people that I've helped, hundreds of them, and now I have so many people who can help me out now. Now we have more than 20 or 30. I have 2 treatment places now. One here in Angela City, and one in San Fernando. Although the one in San Fernando is just starting up. They have probably 8 or 9 clients there. Here we have probably 20, something like that, And we're helping them. We're really helping them, and at least I'm grateful. I'm glad with my higher power that He has helped me, and countless people that I've helped in this recovery. I became the regional delegate of Narcotics Anonymous. That was in 2007 or 2008, in which I represent the Philippines in some world services, in some in Asia Pacific Forum, and I'm glad, in my 31 years of being clean and sober, I have good life. Sometimes I'm asking myself, I drive my own car now. Sometimes I ask myself, where did these things came from? And I know it came from my higher power, because the only thing I know is using, drinking, gambling, and I know I'm just a low-life, lying son of a bitch, But today, I'm glad I can eat whatever I want to eat. I could go some places, wherever I want to go to some places, I can go abroad, I can go anywhere, It's just because of recovery, and it's because of the 12 Steps program of Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Campers Anonymous. I'm grateful.
What is the hardest part about running a rehab?
The hardest part of running a rehab, well, it's always very hard. I could say that uh, each and every client, if they're 20, each and every one of them, one client is a problem of one family. And you will put them up in one place. I don't know what miracle is there that they could understand each other. And there are individual indifferences, no, but they can understand each other. The hardest part is when it's all about the psychosis part or the mental illness of a drug addict. When you go into treatment, you have to undergo psychiatry, you have to undergo detoxification, the first phase of recovery, and then you'll go from there, the treatment part.
What percentage of the alcoholics or the addicts stay clean after a rehab?
I couldn't say how many, but it's the recovery rate that you are asking. I guess we could say that we could go to from 60%. I don't know, even more, because some understand their life already when they went into treatment. Others, because they have mental illnesses, we just have to take care of them. That's all we do. So probably it's 60% or more. I don't know. But there is a chance. There is hope when a person who is afflicted by alcohol or by drugs or by addictions of gambling, there is hope. There is chance when they will be put into treatment. Some are very unfortunate. They just die. That's the time when our former president, a lot of drug addicts were killed at that time. A lot of them. But we were telling them that they're just sick. Of course, we are in a third world country. We don't have probably budget for all these diseases that we have.
What do you think about Rodrigo Duterte?
That's what I'm telling. He just, the mindset that he has is kill all the drug addicts. But I could say those people killed at that time are all on the grassroots level. Those addicts living in the subdivisions, big houses, they were not killed. I think it's because of poverty line. That's one I could say. That's why maybe if I have to talk about Rodrigo Duterte, our ex-president, he just have to realize that there is hope, there is treatment, there is a program, not all, but at least, maybe trying to re-educate the people in addiction or maybe in alcoholism. Today, a lot of people also are inflicted of online gambling. A lot of people are being addicted or are addicted with online gambling. And depressions, suicides are a lot. They're not documented, but there are a lot.
Would you say there's more or less drugs now in the Philippines than like 30 years ago?
30 years ago, I think the drugs at that time, shabu is not prevalent at that time. What is prevalent is, I could say, marijuana is the most prevalent at that time, 30 years ago. And of course, over-the-counter drugs, just like cough syrups and volumes, or they're very prevalent also at that time. But 30 years ago, it's starting. I know it's starting in the 1980s. Methamphetamine or shabu is just starting at that time. I started during the latter part of the 80s, and of course the beginning of the 90s.
What advice would you give to family members of an alcoholic or a drug addict?
The only advice that I can give is addiction and alcoholism is a disease. There is treatment. It's just how we consider the addiction and the alcoholism, to study about it, to take a chance in the rehabilitation and treatment. There is chance, there is hope. I've seen a lot of people, but it's just because of codependency. Maybe, what's codependency? Codependency are the family of an alcoholic and a drug addict. They are the addict of the addict. They enable the drug addict or the alcoholic to develop, or the disease progresses. So these families, it's not only, we always say it's a family disease. When one is sick, everybody is sick. Just like when the drug addict is out there, and they're not sleeping, of course, the family don't sleep also. If the drug addict doesn't eat, of course, sometimes the family doesn't eat also. So that's how it is. That's how the disease of addiction and alcoholism is all about. Sometimes it's a very complex disease, but there is chance, if we will ask for help in our disease.
Why do you think, like, you became an alcoholic, drug addict? Why, like, you think?
Okay, if you're asking me that, there's a research, there's a genetic part of it. It's hereditary. I saw it in my family. My grandfather died because of alcoholism, and my uncle, my uncles died. They died because of alcoholism. Most of them died because of alcoholism. I think they all died because of alcoholism. And in our generation, I have already, I know my cousins, brothers, also are alcoholics. So it's the genetic part of it. And the environment that we have here in the Philippines.
What is it about the environment?
The environment is sometimes because drug pushing is prevalent. Poverty, because of poverty, the only thing they know is they push drugs to earn money. But sometimes they won't even earn money. They just put it in their own drug addiction because they are controlled by their own drug addiction. That's why in the environment, especially in the grassroots level, there are a lot of people or maybe drug addicts in the grassroots level, the barangay level, there are a lot. That's our environment now. And one more thing, one more thing. Alcohol is legal. Alcohol is a legal drug. They can buy it anywhere. You can see them, women, men, girls, boys. They're sitting in one table, and of course, they all drink. At that time, I don't see any. When I was drinking, there are no women except when you go into a bar, you will see the waitresses or probably a lot of women there. But now, it's prevalent. Just you can see it in the streets, on the stores, near the stores. They're there. They're all there drinking. And you are here in the Philippines. You will see that that there are a lot. I've seen a lot.
Because, like, you have problems with alcohol, with drugs, and with gambling, you're the perfect person to answer this question. So, what is the most difficult of these three to leave behind? Drugs, alcohol, or gambling?
Same.
It's all the same.
They're all the same. They're all addictions. If a person is controlled by his addiction, he gets up in the morning thinking about the drugs, thinking about how to get money. If you are a gambler, thinking about the booze. If you are an alcoholic, your mind is controlled or maybe clouded with the addiction, and you can't do anything. And the addiction will rob you of your choice. You cannot choose whatever it is. The only thing you can choose is choose your drugs, choose the gambling, choose alcohol. That's how it is when you're in addiction.
When you talk about gambling in the Philippines,
It's gambling in the Philippines, especially today. There are online gambling, and of course, I won't say who the perpetrators or who started this, but gambling addiction or online addiction is very prevalent. You can gamble, with your cell phone because everything is online. Even money is online. So you'll just use your Gcash, MoneyGram, PayPal, and you can gamble already online. That's how it is. That's how prevalent it is. Some died, some are depressed, some are indebted, huge in debt in their life. I've seen a lot because we've been addressing all these addictions in a client.
it's much worse now than it was before.
It's much worse now. I think this started during the pandemic. During the pandemic, it started. They're just there with their cell phone. They have money. They do it online. Everything they do it online. Even acquiring or maybe drugs and alcohol. They still sell even though it's prohibited, but they still can do it.
What has been the hardest part about your life?
Hardest part about my life is when I was controlled by my addiction. When I started, I worked inside Clark Air Base at that time, and Mount Pinatubo blew up, and we got all displaced, and I started having some a grocery business, but it all went into drugs, at that time. That's when I was already, when I've learned how to lie, cheat, and steal. That's the hardest part of it. That I don't have anything in my possession. My family is suffering at that time, especially, of course, especially my wife, my ex-wife. She left me when I was already 4 years in recovery, but she could not bear who I am, because I could say, even though you're sober, sometimes there's what they call dry drunk. That's how it is. It's just when I started being close to my higher power or to my God, having faith, that's where I started it.
You think childhood traumas have something to do with alcoholism and drug addiction?
I guess, I could say that traumas, if you have traumas, especially when started in your younger days, then you see it in your family, that they're also drug addicts and alcoholics in the family. Of course, there are traumas that sometimes they commit suicide. Sometimes they could not take the family life. That's how it is.
Did you have something like that in your childhood?
In my childhood, I think I did not have any. The trauma that I have is when my father was so angry with me, and he got a block or stone. He wants to stone me because I was already unmanageable. I could not manage my life, and they are affected with what I am doing. That's how it is.
Do you have regrets?
Regrets? This is what I can see it in my life now. Regrets, I think this is part of my journey. This is part of my life that I have learned from this. I think I could say that God gave me this life because I have learned from my life, and He put me in a gave me a very good life now. Maybe He gave me all those tests when I was young, when I was growing, when I was having, when I was in my addiction and alcoholism. But when I stopped, there are rewards. There are gifts, I could say. Maybe this is the gift that I have received from God, helping other people, forgetting about myself, but helping other people. I don't have any regrets. I think it's part of my life. It's part of my story. That's it.
What is your biggest fear?
Death, of course. Until when? But I have to face whatever fear I may have. As long as I believe in God, as long as I have faith, I know fear is just there. I've learned 99% of fear is not, it's not there. It's just fear. No. But now that I'm already 68 years old, of course, thinking about what will happen to me, when I die, or where will I go when I die? Oh, well, that's just a creation of my mind, just being crazy about it.
So you've been like running rehabs for like more than 20 years now, right?
Yes.
Like, do sometimes there's definitely like sometimes the patients come in, they go out, and they start drinking or they start using again.
Relapse.
Yeah.
The relapse, it's part of recovery and relapse. There will always be relapse and recovery in treatment. You cannot say it's 100%. There is no 100% in treatment and rehab. There's no 100%. Definitely, you will experience relapse. During my first few years in recovery, or maybe in treatment, the first few patients, they didn't even recover. But after that, they realized they have to stop. Now, some of them are recovering already.
How does that make you feel when the patients relapse?
At first, it's very saddening, and feeling of failure. But I have read a lot of research about treatment and recovery. Maybe it's part of it. Maybe they're not yet ready. But when they're ready, they will recover. Some has to hit bottom hard, or some are living in the bottom. They like living in the bottom. But when you hit bottom, the only thing that will happen is going up. But if you live in that bottom, you won't get up.
How long do the programs last?
9 months now. 9 months. At first, it's 45 days, and then, as I've said, 2 months, and then 3 months, 6 months. Now it's 9 months. But there should be aftercare program after that 9 months. Aftercare program is very important in treatment and rehabilitation. That's where you will start, helping other people.
So why is it 9 months?
That's our experience, because we've experienced just 45 days. We've experienced 2 months, and they're not recovering. I didn't see any recovery people who recovered. Then we put it into 9 months so that we will carry out probably the aftercare program. That's how we do it. Probably that's our experience. It's not the same as other rehabs. Others, they have 1 year, they have 18 months, and the law says, it's a confinement of 6 months and an aftercare of 18 months. That's the law says.
What is the aftercare program like?
Aftercare program is, of course, you go back to meetings, talk to your sponsor, do the program, and probably help other newcomers that go to the program. That's how it is.
You stay in touch with the patients after they're done with the rehab?
Yeah, of course. But sometimes, sometimes you blame the families also because of their enabling attitudes. Sometimes you tell them, oh, you have to go to 9 months. But sometimes they try to, oh, My son is okay now. Or my husband is okay now. I have to pull him out of treatment because of the manipulating part of the addict and the alcoholic or maybe the gambler. They are very manipulative. They are actor and actresses.
What differences do you see between the alcoholics and drug addicts who stay sober and who relapse
What do you mean?
after the rehab?
After the rehab,
What is their attitude? What are the differences between their attitudes?
well, if they will recover, they will have their own higher power. I think the secret is the higher power. That there's somebody out there that can help them. The faith that grows when they're in treatment. No, the faith won't grow if you only have 2 months, 3 months. I think it will grow. We saw it maybe, in 9 months' time, maybe, if he will believe in a power greater than ourselves.
If you would have one wish and you could wish for anything, what would you wish for?
I wish that those who have addictions, or as I've said, it's a family disease. I wish that they will be educated when it comes to addiction. I wish that they will learn, or they will be educated by the disease of addiction. Maybe do some research about addiction. Now there's science of addiction. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay?
Maybe somebody will get help from this.
Yeah, I hope so.